let's talk about the video first. Since you already yeah. Your thoughts?
So I noticed how many like nervous things I do. First of all, yeah, that I never realized before. Should I do negatives first or should I do positives?
I mean, I would like to hear positives first.
Okay. I think that when I ask kids to do a task, they like respect me, and so they'll get to it like fairly quickly. A majority of them will. Obviously, some of the kids with behavior problems don't. So I think I have like their attention.
Yeah. And
I keep their attention pretty well. While I like absolutely hate the tone that I have, but I was just telling Megan also that I think after I watched myself, I went onto YouTube and I started YouTubing different teachers, not from here, but like anywhere.
Yeah. Right.
Teaching 7th grade. And I realized that like every teacher has a teacher tone in a way that they talk that is not the same as, when they're like talking.
Yes.
So I felt better about that.
Yeah.
So I don't
teacher
necessarily
voice is
like my tone, and I don't want it to be so like programmed. I don't think I'm monotone, which I think is good with them. So like that's why I can help keep their attention. I thought that I liked how I like kind of contextualized where we were in terms of last time. So like the very first thing I did with them, especially coming back from break, was to be like, okay, this is what we have done. This is where we started. And now this is how everything is like relating to where we were. And I was introducing a new topic. So I thought that was pretty helpful for them to be like, okay, so we learned about negatives and positives and how, rational numbers. And then we were going into solving equations and like also combining like terms. So it's like, this is how you do that, now.
Right. Yeah, you didn't just review like, you both like were like, this is where we've been, but also this is the link.
Right.
Like, we're just going to springboard off of what you already
Yeah. So, I don't think I give myself enough credit for doing that type of stuff. So like I was trying to like pull things out.
Yeah. No, and those are no small things.
Yeah. And I also thought that I like moved enough, and I wasn't just like sitting in front of my computer or like
your circulation's good.
Yeah. I think I could definitely move more. It's just really hard in that room because it's first of all the smallest room on the floor, but also there's nothing like the desks are in lines. So if like I'm moving up them, it's like I just
you can't.
Yeah. But I still try to get back to the back row and like speak from there if they're looking at something on the board. So the negatives that I pulled out. Well, first of all, the beginning of that class was super disorganized because I was giving out new seats.
Oh, I did not realize that.
Yeah. So it was the first day back, so I was telling them where to go. So like that probably took up 3 to 4 more minutes than it should have.
Yeah. No, but that's a tough thing when you see. That's always a.
Yeah. I also noticed how much I try to talk over kids, so that when they start talking, I get louder.
Yeah.
And I try to quiet them down, and I'll ask them to stop talking, but if they continue to talk, I'll just talk over them.
I did notice that as well.
Yeah. And it's just like I hated that I was doing that because it doesn't quiet them down at all. So in like observing other teachers, and Rachel and Megan does this a lot too, is like she says like, I'm just gonna wait.
Yeah.
And they seem to really respond to that. So I've been trying to do that a little bit more. And not like I'll just wait, but also like, guys, the more you talk, the more homework you're going to rack up. Because if we don't get through this classwork, I want you to get through it. That means you're either not getting to your homework when you could in class and like getting a head start.
No, I love that you start the homework in class.
Actually. I always try to, just so like if it's a first or second question and they're still having trouble, at least I'm there so they can't come and be like, I was confused on the homework.
On the homework, right.
But also,
it's good to preview it. I feel like if they've like gotten through 1 or 2, they're more likely to do the whole thing.
Right. So I always try to like give them time to start that. And so then when they're talking, it's like, we're not going to be able to start your homework, which means like you're gonna have more of it.
No, I love that I'm just gonna wait.
Yeah, so I'm trying to do that more.
Is it working so far?
It actually does work, and like I'll get some kids to be like, "Guys, stop! I don't want homework."
Yes.
Yeah,
that's good. And then when you pick it up, like speak at like when you speak quieter, they have to be quiet to hear you.
Right.
So I'd say that's the other thing is like it's counterintuitive that you're heard better the quieter you are.
That's so hard for me to grasp, but I'm trying.
I know.
I think it's also just hard because like I'm so used to like being loud for basketball and coaching and gym.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's true. Yeah, I didn't.
Yeah. So I'm still working on that.
That's good though that you already have your own solution.
Yeah, it also surprised me. I know how much this grade talks and how it's a problem across the board, but it surprised me how much they like continue to talk as I'm teaching. And it's not like at this point I'm not. This is like just slightly different from me talking over them in terms of like yelling, but it's like the little quiet talking that when I'm still trying to teach, there's still a little bit of like chatter.
I know.
That I should 100% pay way more attention to. And I think I just get so sick and tired of saying stop talking.
Yeah.
That like I'm just like, okay, those two are gonna quietly like whisper or just have some chatter in the background. Like I'm gonna teach the other 22 kids, and instead I need to work on calling them out and like completely stopping the class.
Just stop the class, just wait.
And Megan was just saying to me how like annoying kids find that actually the more you do it. So again, it's just that same concept.
Oh, you know what I did find? You did do something that like stopped all the little chatter when you like gave the warning for like this is your warning for demerits. That was super effective.
Yeah, I try to do that one because they'll always fight me if I give them a demerit, and they'll be like, "Where's my warning?" I'm like, the 5 times I asked you to stop talking.
Yeah, right.
So like, I have to be like very explicit and be like, "This is your warning." And then like the bigger things that I saw was, and you've talked to me about this, and we're going to talk about it today, but like transitions and like clearly it's just like not naturally yet for me to like. I think I said this in my reflection, but like I'm not at the point that I'm like so confident with material that I can teach it with my eyes closed and deal with all the behavior issues and also like know that anything that comes my way, like questions or things like that. So I pay so much attention to like material. Am I presenting it well? Like, are they understanding it?
Yeah. And
like not paying attention to like, okay, I'm gonna like hand things out while I'm still explaining it type of deal.
Right. Yeah.
So I think I definitely noticed in that video that transitions were like choppy. So I'm like wondering if I should start having like, you know, setting up piles, like 1, 2, 3, and as like and I've started to do it this week, as they're like giving me their do now or their classwork or whatever. At that same time, I'm passing stuff out and answering questions. The next thing that I'm having trouble with again is like, as that's all happening, they're talking about other things.
Right.
So like I want that time to be like you pass up silently, I'm gonna hand out silently, but also at the same time answering questions or like wrap up what we just talked about.
Yeah.
So I think
that's pretty ambitious. I think that's pretty ambitious.
I know.
I think that's too much, actually. I think you should wrap up, stop, and then the passing up should be silent. And the passing out can happen simultaneously and be silent.
Yeah.
But I think it's actually too much to expect of yourself to like do all 3 at once.
Yeah.
Like you can't be answering questions and have them be silently passive. Like that's a lot.
Okay, so just pass up and collect, basically.
Yeah, I think.
Okay.
I think the other thing I was gonna say.
I just don't want it to be like, and I know that you've talked to me about this, is like dead time where they're not doing anything. But I guess if they're passing up, they're technically doing something.
Yeah, I mean, you can still be deliberately urgent if like, I mean, they can take 30 seconds to pass it up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like I think that's fine.
Okay.
And that means that when you talk, it really commands. Like they should be just like listening and doing and taking notes like when they talk. Like it's hard, like even their attention, like how much are they actually really soaking in of what you say?
Right.
If they're busy both passing up and taking, like they're probably not soaking it in anyway.
Yeah. No. Good point. No, you're right. You're right.
They're probably not.
That was, too much. I was just like trying to think how I could maximize all the time in class.
Yeah, no. Yeah, for sure. Okay. But the other thing I thought about procedures, it's funny you like brought up everything I was going to say. Which is good. But about procedures is that there's value in redoing them. So procedures would be like them entering the room, passing stuff up, passing stuff back, like all that sort of like transitioning from independent into your groups.
Yeah.
Like you could set is like redoing it and repracticing. So if they come in the room, I mean the seats are like aside.
Yeah.
But even with the seats, you could be like, okay, now we have this 4 minutes of chaos. Everybody's in their seat. You can literally, and I've done this like many times before, pull them all back into the hall. Be like, guys, we're silently getting into the hall, and now we're gonna go back to our. We're gonna get to our seats. We're gonna practice this like legit silently how we should enter the classroom, and then we're gonna get started on our do now silently.
I need to do that more. I know the other teachers are really. I mean, a couple of them are really good at that, being like, all right, this was terrible. We're gonna go back out.
Go back, yeah.
And in like my head, I'm like, I'm nervous that they're gonna just have this happen all over again, or it's gonna be more chaos. So I don't do it. But I mean, I've done it a couple times.
Right? Yeah. And in terms of things they don't like, they don't like when you say, I'm just gonna wait. You don't like just like waiting for silence, and they don't like having to like redo things. But you can do it with passing out papers too. Be like, guys, you were chatting, or some of you were chatting.
Yeah.
Even quietly, but you were chatting while you were passing up the do now.
Yeah.
Row leaders, please pass those back.
Yep.
We're gonna practice it again.
Yeah.
And sometimes you make it a game, and like you can have a stopwatch and be like, let's see how like fast we can do this. That's a really fun thing, and you can pit them against themselves to be like, okay, today was 25 seconds of passing up. Tomorrow we're gonna try to beat it.
Yeah.
So you can pit them against themselves, or you can pit them against the other period. You can like the second period that you have be like, okay, the period first before period. First period did it silently in 25 seconds. Second period, what do you get? Like, can you beat them silently? But just like really redoing it is worth the time.
Okay. Cool.
And it'll be something, I mean, that's something like you have to maintain, not just like tomorrow, if you do that tomorrow, like it'll work well for a few days.
Right.
And then maybe in 3 weeks, you'll have to do it again.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like a constant,
I definitely
iterative, thing. But you can do that with getting into groups too. Be like, all right, now like we're gonna get with our partners. You're gonna go with, you're gonna go with them, and then you say like 3, 2, 1, move, and then there's like a lot of like, moving, and then maybe time them. You say like my expectation is 30 seconds, and then your pencil's on the paper.
Yeah.
And then if it's not good, you say, move back into rows. We're going to try it again.
Yeah.
You were 32 seconds. It's not acceptable.
Yes. Okay.
But that's not wasted time, though. It's really not.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, you'll be a happier teacher. You'll be happier students. Like,
It becomes second nature.
If like this, just those like procedures of how to move papers in themselves.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. So 2-step equations.
Yeah. So, I figured we could do. So actually, today I introduced one step with multiplication and division. So yesterday was addition and subtraction. They got it pretty quickly, or 2 days ago, I should say.
How was the field trip yesterday?
It was better than I expected. A lot better than I expected. I was really nervous that the tea was going to be nuts with them on it. Yeah. And it was like crowded and stuff, but they behaved really well. And I think the groups that we had set out were like really good in terms of kids with other kids, and it was fun. It was good. Yeah, they seemed to have fun. So I did this, what we talked about.
Yep. Yes.
With like each step, and some of them have more steps than others, and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And so I had done a lesson with them first on multiplying, dividing, inverse operations, things like that. And I even did a fraction problem. What was that one?
Number 7. Oh, yeah.
It was one like this. Because I did the lesson and we like did problems as a class together. And when I did this one, I think it would have been like 1/3 or an easier fraction to work with, maybe. Right. They got it really pretty easily, and then they got to this, and they were like, "How do I solve this?" And they like didn't even remember the word reciprocal, which I was like really surprised by.
Right.
So what I ended up doing was I like went around to the groups and kind of helped them out. But when I realized that like even my like A students were like, with this one, which I still taught as 1/7x is equal to x over 7. I did it both ways.
Okay.
They still were like, I don't get it. So I ended up stopping this activity probably after 10 minutes. Okay. And asked them if they wanted me to go through each problem with them again, even though we had done it in the notes. So what I might do with the second class, instead of doing this, I might go through the lesson, have them go through the notes. They actually...
The second class, Tuesday?
No, sorry, today. So I teach 7th period.
Oh,
my
you do?
other accelerated class, yeah.
Oh, okay.
So what I might do with them, instead of this, is instead of this activity, do whiteboards.
Oh.
And on the projector, on the smart board, put up equations.
Yeah.
And kind of have them flip them around. We haven't used whiteboards in a really long time.
Yeah, good call.
And I had too many kids in my first class be like, in different groups, I don't get this one, but then one kid in their group totally did get it, and then another kid in a different group would be like, I don't understand this, but I understand this. Why? Like, and some of them are like, I can do this in my head, why do I have to separate it in 2 steps? And I'm like, because we're building like foundations, like the basics for like 2-step equations. So like when we have multiple steps in our problem, we know the first step is to divide each side by -5. And she was like, but I can just do this in my head right now, why do I have to do it? So like that was tricky because I was having those kids kind of take my attention away, and it was just wasting time. So I feel like if I just throw equations up on the whiteboard or up on the smart board, and then they individually, not in groups, do it and then flip their whiteboard over.
Yeah.
That might help.
And then go over as necessary.
Exactly.
Yeah, totally.
And like if more than 1/3 of the class, or if 1/3 of the class or more got it wrong, I'll go through it.
Yeah. Yeah. That's good. That's a good switch.
Again, this is something that I feel like...
Yeah, so I guess with this passing in 4 game, they have to be pretty decent at it first,
yeah, and I also think they probably have to have all of them have to have like 5 steps.
To make it worth like,
I don't think that, but I think for them, they think that because they're just going to be like, oh, well, this equals,
Right, they're showing
12.
the work piece.
Yeah. And I can just figure this out right here.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Okay, that sounds good for this afternoon.
Yeah. So, this is the lesson. This is my Tuesday lesson. Next week's kind of weird because obviously we don't school Monday, but from Tuesday and Wednesday I only see each class twice. Where normally, in a week I would have already seen them 5 times, but we have IA testing.
Oh, so that's taking up like the second period of first.
So we're doing it how you guys did MCAS last year. So Tuesday from morning until lunch, they're doing testing, but then I'll see period 4, 6, 7 in the afternoon.
I thought the IA results just came back. Is this IA 3?
2.
IA 2.
Yeah.
Is IA 2?
Yeah.
I thought IA 2 happened. Really not with it. Okay.
But this makes me think now that I wanted to do a review with them. Anyway, too late now. Wednesday, it's
give a little like pep talk for a minute.
Yeah.
To your 7th period.
I'm trying to think when they take it.
Are they not taking it?
I think they take it Wednesday.
Oh, good. Okay.
So I think I'm pretty sure they take it. My kids take it Wednesday.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do math Wednesday and they do ELA on Tuesday.
Okay.
Because I remember thinking this morning that I had time to review, but then I was just saying that to you.
Yeah.
Okay, so this will be the 18th. So I'm doing 2-step equations.
18th Wednesday?
Yeah.
This is regular Wednesday.
Yeah. Well, no, so I'll only see them in the afternoon.
Right. But is Tuesday afternoon going to be a review lesson or like a yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So anyway. This I printed out. I just filled out the question, content objective, language objective. My do now, I want to go over the homework.
Yeah. This essential question. Inverse is like.
Yeah.
That's definitely the thing.
Yeah. And then I just said, like the opening was, can we think about what we did with 1-step equations? And I've been like really talking about like getting the variable alone on one side of the equation to solve 2-step equations. And then I left these blank because I figured that that's kind of what we could talk about in terms of like...
Yeah.
So I don't know if I do not yet, but these are the notes.
I would think for your do now, I have a suggestion for do now.
Yes.
Because for the first time with 2 steps, I would do an order of operations do now.
Okay.
To do like, 2x plus 5, and then and then x equals like -3 or something, So this is a really easy problem, right? -6 plus. So they say maybe there's like a reflection, like a steps, and then the point is that they multiply and then add.
Yeah.
So then when you do, and then
this is what I'm teaching them right now.
No, not solving it, like substituting in.
Oh, so I give them x
So you give them
3.
x equals 3.
Got it.
So you give them x equals 3. They just do PEMDAS.
Okay.
Yeah. So they're like in order of operations, like you would multiply and then add because of PEMDAS,
Right.
And then you say, okay, the next problem would be solve y, or say this equals, so like 2x plus 3, this ended up being -1, equals -1.
Okay.
So you say, so the output, like you use this output here, and then what am I going to do? I'm going to subtract, and then I'm going to divide.
Yeah, I'll give an example that's like done.
Yeah.
Because they're totally going to.
But the do now could be like 3 just PEMDAS things.
Okay.
It'd be really simple, but they could do like 3 of them on your own, and then your notes, like this wouldn't be part of the do now. The do now could be like 3 or 5 just straight up order of operations substitute in.
Yeah. Okay.
And then just coincidence, we have the corresponding equations to solve, and that's when you do like notes.
Okay.
But you can make observations about like, not only did multiplication turn subtraction, in addition turned into multiplication turned into division, in addition turned into subtraction. That definitely happened. That's like takeaway number 1, inverses.
Yep.
They've got that takeaway anyway already.
Yes. Yeah.
They'll come in with that. So you say, now the new takeaway I want is that before, on your do now, say like on your do now for those 5 problems, you multiplied and divided first, and then you added and subtracted. On these solving equations ones, it's the opposite. We're adding and subtracting, and I would just write like PEMDAS, and then write like the backwards arrow.
Okay.
So don't write it as like you probably, to be like, yeah, so now I'm gonna do the opposite. So when you so just make if you're plugging in, you're using PEMDAS. If you're solving, you're going the opposite of PEMDAS. So you say, what are our operations? We have multiplication and addition here.
Okay.
Which one comes first for solving now? Then you should notice that like the A and the S are first for solving.
Okay.
And you say, why? Because that's the inverse of PEMDAS. We're using the inverse of PEMDAS to solve. That's like the big thing. We're using the inverse of PEMDAS to solve. So like that's why we don't divide first. because that would be following PEMDAS.
Right.
We're not simplifying, we're solving.
Right.
So like, for simplifying, simplify PEMDAS. And then for solving, the inverse of PEMDAS. I've heard it as SAMDEP. You have to like, but anyway, I just write PEMDAS back and then do the arrow.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, where's my PEMDAS? Yeah. And this will totally have to come from you.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Yeah.
You'll have to be like, I'm telling you the answer, for this one.
Yep.
But like, here's the reason why, and like when you get into, be like, our operations here are multiplication and addition, which comes first in. Oh, you could do SAMDEP. I mean, I don't know. SAMDEP's fun.
It was fun. Okay.
Yeah, SAMDEP's good. Whatever one you want.
Sure.
A lot of that, yeah. Be like, yeah.
Okay.
So that's what I would do, is like have a really easy do now, but then have it exactly correlate to the solving notes.
Okay. Yeah. So I'll do that for the do now. I have been doing more guided notes so that what I have up on the projector or on the computer is not the same as what they have. Just to like get them to see different things, but also to like listen more. So it's like active listening. Like I have to hear what Miss Hart's saying, because I can't just like not pay attention
space out
and just like see what's up on the board and then put it on here. But like, okay, now like she's giving me these, but it doesn't exactly look like what they have.
Yeah.
So anyway, so this will be up, and then I'll go through this with them.
I love these decimals in it. This is just so great.
I'll do these first ones with them, and then see. Yeah. Well, maybe I'll do 1 and 3, because
this feels like a little too early to attack the fractional coefficient.
Really?
I think so.
We did fractions today with one set. I mean,
did they get it?
Once I explained it to them the second time.
They did. Okay.
I mean, I can see what it's like.
No, I think that's good.
Okay.
No, I think it should be in this lesson, just maybe like the 4th or the 5th one.
Yeah.
They get a little mastery with like. Yeah.
I also think then I should take this out, because not only do you have a fraction.
But this is like, because this you have to multiply by the reciprocal. That's a whole separate thing. This you just have to multiply by 12.4.
Which I'm trying to teach them is technically the reciprocal.
Oh, it's technically the reciprocal? Oh, yeah.
That's what I wanted to teach them.
Good. Yeah.
So that they saw both ways. But I don't know if that's confusing them. I'll put a couple easy ones in first. I'll add a couple more. That's what I'll do.
Yeah, add a couple more easy ones that like correlate to the do now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like these need to be first.
Yeah.
So that they get comfortable with it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. So
you're gonna get resistance too on like, but I can solve this in my head.
I know.
Just be like, this. I mean, there's a couple answers. Like, first of all, it's like, yeah, you can solve this one in your head, but there's going to be harder ones that you will need to write an equation for.
Right.
I promise you.
Right.
And so you need to know this skill. Just be like, you need to know the skill.
Yeah.
Because like you will not always be able to solve it in your head.
Right. Okay.
So you can get like, you could do the modeling approach too. Like in math, what we do is we model, real situations with numbers and variables.
Right.
So in and of itself, being able to model is a skill.
Right.
That I want you to have, and you have to have. So do it.
Good point. Good point.
But they're definitely going to be like, I know.
Yeah, totally. Okay, so then like, what would like your transition from? Okay, so we're done with the notes. We did this, right? I'm gonna go over every single one with them because that's what I do in notes for the most part.
Yeah.
And now we're going into classwork.
I would have very direct instructions, like be verbally, like set your expectations verbally. Be like, now, Like, I want you to have nothing on your desk but, your pencil and the one piece of paper. And you pause. And you say, now, I'm about to pass out your classwork. Here's what's going to happen. You're going to be silent, and the row leaders are going to pass back. And then I will give you more instructions. But and that's something you didn't do in the video, is you didn't say, you had the expectations of silence, but you didn't say, I want you to be silent right now. So at every transition, just tell them exactly how it should look. I'm about to pass this out. You're going to be silent while we pass back. And then I'll give you the further directions.
Okay.
And then once all passed out, assuming it goes well, you don't redo it.
Yeah.
Then you say, okay, now we're going to get in our partners, maybe?
Yep.
Or are they doing partners?
Yeah.
Groups? Yeah. Say, do they know their partners, or do you need to tell them?
I usually change them. Yeah. Or I just tell them to get in pairs. I might change their seats and have it be, okay, the person directly to your left is your partner.
Okay. So then I would say,
I guess there's equal amount of rows. So you 3 rows will be with the person to your left. Yeah.
Okay. So I would say, now look at your partner, and then they should all be like,
yeah.
Say, does everybody know where they're going? Yes. Okay. Say, now this is going to take 30 seconds. We're all going to move our desks at the same... You just outline. We're all going to move our desks at the same time.
Yeah.
By the end of 30 seconds, I'm going to time it. Even if you time it in your head, even if you fake time it in your head.
Yeah.
You'll be timing it.
Yeah. I got it. I know 30 seconds. For the most
30 seconds. Yeah. So we're all going to move at the same time on the count of 3, 2, 1. We're all going to move at the same time. And then I'm going to say, when we're done, I'm going to call it, and we'll all be ready to start. Well, I'll be pencil in hand, ready to start.
Yeah.
Physically, what should they be doing? And then you say 3, 2, 1, go.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Yeah. And the big thing before the movement, really make sure they know who their partner is.
Yeah.
Because if they don't know where to move, that's when they're like,
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I think try that out. Yeah, and you can do that before notes, in between the do now notes. I'm giving notes. I want it to be silent. You have something to say. My expectation is that you raise your hand.
Yeah.
Just say that throughout the class. Oh, how's the behavior chart working out?
So it works out really well for the first 2 days, and now they're back to don't care as much.
Yeah.
I think they like seeing the score up there though.
Yeah.
So, some of them are really on board, or today I had kids come in and they were like, that's what we got on Wednesday, because I gave them zeros across the board because they were so bad. I was so angry with them. And also still wasn't feeling well, so I was had no patience.
Right.
So I think some kids have bought into it and are interested.
Have they gotten a reward yet?
No, they haven't issued yet.
So once they get their first reward that, you should make it come soon.
Yeah, they should have it at some point next week.
Yeah.
If not the week after.
It should be next week.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, it got weird.
That's what'll cause
the reason that it got weird is I didn't do it when they had STAR testing. So we had
STAR testing. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah. So we had STAR testing last week, and then I was absent, and then it was a shortened week anyway. And then today we went yesterday we went on the field trip. Yeah, so they've missed 4 classes.
Yeah.
So it probably would come next week anyway. So maybe I'll just bump up their scores.
Yeah, I think you should
lower
do either one. Be
lower the goal.
Yeah. Yeah. And say why. Say I was absent, we didn't do it, and we had a field trip that I didn't take into account. So that's why I'm lowering it. Yeah. Not because I don't think you can achieve the cycle.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you want to. Yeah, you should make the reward come next week. Okay, so wait, I want to talk first too about your Tuesday review lesson.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So the second example,
or at least what the structure is out.
I know that
here's the 4 days.
When we observed Frishella, she had done a PowerPoint with them, so I think I might do the same thing. And like every single slide will be
I've seen them do that.
A different
whole thing
problem from the test. So I plan on giving them like specific problems.
Yeah, I think that's good. And when Frashella does it, you've seen it. She like puts the problem up, and they go to silently for like 2 or 3 minutes, and she circulates.
Yep.
Like she doesn't just like do it, but it's that sort of seesaw back and forth.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll come and watch on Tuesday. Oh wait, so it'd be Tuesday afternoon, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll do that. I'll come watch. All right. Penciling it in.
Okay. Just casually can never remember my password.
That's okay. I was more wondering like the structure.
Yeah.
So they'll do like a seesaw type PowerPoint. And then what?
I could do a game. I could do like 10 Kahoot questions.
Yeah.
They love Kahoot.
Yeah.
Like absolutely love it.
Yeah. I'll do that.
So.
Yeah. And then when you set up Kahoot, transition, what you need to make sure of is like you say it in advance, like when you say it like, now I know that you'll be talking and chattering and it'll be excited, and that's great. But in between each question, we need to calm down to silence.
Yeah.
And that's when you say, I'm gonna wait, is in between each question it has to get.
Sorry, I just realized I put in my personal account.
Oh, that's why it's not working.
My Boston Collusion account. I was like, there's no way. Yes, that's fine. So maybe I'll do like 15 minutes or 10 minutes of review of different problems, but then all the Kahoot will also be those.
Maybe like 15, because if you're going back, if they're doing it and then you're going, 15 minutes. So like 5 minutes do now, 10 minutes or 15 minute that, and then 10 Kahoot questions.
Yeah.
And just in between, be like, I'm waiting for silence.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Now you can go crazy. You know, not really crazy.
They do go crazy.
They do go crazy.
Yeah.
They do go crazy. And probably in partners, Kahoot. Or solo.
I guess if they do the other,
like if they're gonna do Wednesday solo.
Yes.
Yeah.
But if they're gonna do the beginning like PowerPoint solo questions, I guess.
I think partners is good for this lesson because they'll be doing it solo the next day on the IA.
Yeah. And
that way they can help each other maybe. For this, I would pair highs with lows.
Okay.
Yeah. So that way, like, the highs can explain it to the lows. Yeah. I think time's gonna be up soon.
It is. I know. I was just looking at that.
Yeah.
My internet's not even on, so.
Oh.
They're not working, I should say.
And we'll meet Tuesday anyway, so we have Wednesday planned.
Yes.
So that's good. Yeah. And do you have them take out a piece of paper, like a blank, like where do they do their work? On whiteboards?
on a piece of paper.
Cool. I would make sure each of them has a piece of paper in front of them. Not just like they will submit one final answer for the group, but in terms of participation, like you want them to each be able to solve it.
Maybe I'll like tell them to solve it individually and then come together and see the same answer.
Yes. I think that's a good idea.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
And then have them turn it in.
And how good the paper is, like, will count toward their, classroom points.
Yeah. You know what Jacobson does that I really like? She does it for, like, everything. Instead of just giving a blank sheet of paper, she always has a, like, formatted workspace paper.
Yeah.
And they like think that's so much more serious than, you know, if I just give them blank sheet paper.
That's true. Yeah. Yeah.
Create a workspace.
Like just blank. Mm-hmm. Yeah, like just squares.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, like if you're reviewing quiz problems, just like pass one of those out, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
Oh yeah, even for the PowerPoint.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh. I was gonna give them like the PowerPoint. Yeah, actually. No, just give them the PowerPoint. Yeah, no, for the PowerPoint, just give them the PowerPoint.